I wake well after the sun has come up. The snow has stopped falling. The wind has retreated. For a moment after I open my eyes, everything seems peaceful and quiet.
Not sure if you can tell from the view out the window, but I think we're snowed in,
Jesse says. He is standing in the doorway of the bedroom in a t-shirt and sweatpants. He is smiling.
You look adorable,
he adds.
I guess those are the big highlights of the morning. We're snowed in. You're as cute as ever.
I smile. How snowed in is snowed in?
We're as snowed in as you are adorable.
Oh, God, I say, slowly sitting up and gathering myself. We'll be stuck here for years then. Jesse moves toward the bed and gets in next to me.
Worse fates.
I lean into him and quickly realize that both of us could stand to bathe. I think I might hop in the shower, I say.
Great idea. My parents told me they put a walk-in sauna in the master. Last one there has to make breakfast.
And off we go. The water is warm, but the air is damp and humid. The steam fogs the glass doors. There are more shower heads than I care to count, 2 coming from the ceiling and a number of jets coming from the walls of the shower. It is hot and muggy in here. My hair is flattened and smoothed back across my head. I can feel Jesse just behind me, lathering soap in his hand.
I wanted to ask you,
Jesse says.
Why did you leave L.A.?
What do you mean? I ask.
I just assumed you'd still be out there. Why did you come back?
I like it here, I say.
You liked it there, though, he says. We both did. It was our home.
He's right. I loved my life in California, where it never snowed and the sun was always shining. Now, my favorite day of the year is when daylight savings begins. It's usually when the air starts to thaw and the only precipitation you can be threatened with is a little rain. You're tired in the morning because you've lost an hour of sleep, but by 7 o'clock at night, the sun is still out, and it's warmer than it was yesterday at that time. It feels like the world is opening up, like the worst is over, and flowers are coming. They don't have that in Los Angeles. The flowers never leave. I just knew I needed to come home to my family.
When did you move back? How long was it before you moved back to Acton?
I guess soon, I say, turning away from him and into the water. Maybe 2 months.
2 months,
Jesse says, stunned. Yeah.
Wow, he says. All these years I always pictured you there. I never really pictured you here.
Oh, I say, finding myself unsure how to respond or what to say next. Do you see the shampoo anywhere? I say finally, but I'm not paying attention to the answer. My mind is already lost in the life that Jesse never pictured. Me and Blair books and my cats and Sam. I close my eyes and breathe in. It's a good life, the one he never imagined for me. It's a great life. I miss it. Sam knows I can't eat cheese, and he knows that I never want to change my last name from Blair again. He knows how important the store is to me. He likes to read, he likes to talk about books, and he has interesting thoughts about them. He never drives without a license. He never attracts police officers. He drives safely in bad weather. Sam knows me, the real me, and he has loved me exactly as I am, always, especially as the person I am today.
Jesse says, did you want the shampoo?
Oh, I say, snapping out of it. Yeah, thanks. Jesse hands me the bottle, and I squeeze it into my palm. I lather it through my hair. And suddenly, it takes everything I have not to dissolve into a puddle of tears and go down the drain with the soapy water. I miss Sam, and I'm scared I've pushed him away forever. Jesse notices. I try to hide it. I smile, even though the smile doesn't live anywhere beyond my lips. Jesse stands behind me, putting his arms around me, his chest against my back. He nestles his chin into my shoulder and he says, "How are you?" There is nothing like a well-timed "how are you" to reduce you to weeping. I have no words. I just close my eyes and give myself permission to cry. I let Jesse hold me. I lean into him, collapse onto him. Neither of us says anything. The air grows so hot and oppressive that eventually breathing takes more effort than it should. Jessie turns off the steam, turns down the temperature of the faucets, and lets the lukewarm water run over us.
It's Sam, right? That's his name?
I had split my world into two, but by simply uttering Sam's name, Jessie has just sewn the halves back together.
Yeah,
I say, nodding.
Sam Kemper.
I want to pull away from Jessie right now. I want him to go stand on the other side of the shower. I want to use the water and the soap to clean my body, and I want to go home. But I don't do any of that. Instead, I freeze in place, in some way hoping that by standing still, I can stop the world from spinning for just a moment, that I can put off what I know is eventually going to happen. I watch as Jessie places the name.
Sam Kemper,
he asks.
From high school?
I nod.
The guy that used to work at your parents' store?
There's no reason for Jessie to dislike Sam other than the fact that I love Sam, but I watch as Jessie's face grows to show contempt. I should never have said Sam's full name. It was better when Sam was an abstract. I've done a stupid thing by giving him a face to match. I might as well have stabbed Jessie in the ribs. He bristles and then gets hold of himself.
You love him?
Jessie asks. I nod, but what I want to do is tell him about what Marie said, that she told me this isn't about who I love, but rather who I am. I want to tell him that I've been asking myself that question over and over, and it's starting to seem glaringly obvious that I am different from the person Jessie loves. I am not her, not anymore, no matter how easy it is for me to pretend that I am. But instead of saying any of that, I just say, Sam is a good man. And Jessie leaves it there. He turns off the water, and I'm instantly cold. He hands me a towel, and the moment I wrap it around myself, I realize how naked I feel. We dry ourselves off, not speaking. I'm suddenly so hungry that I feel ill. I throw some clothes on and head downstairs. I start brewing coffee and put bread in the toaster. Jessie comes down shortly after, in fresh clothes. The mood has shifted. You can feel it in the air between us. Everything we've been pretending isn't true is about to come tumbling out of us in shouts and tears. I started making coffee, I say. I try to make my voice sound light and carefree, but it's not working. I know it's not working. I know that my inner turmoil isn't so inner, that trying to cover it up is like brushing a thin coat of white paint over a red wall. It's seeping out. It's clear as day what I'm trying to hide.
I'm starting to think you don't want to be here,
Jessie says. I look up at him. It's complicated, I say. Jessie nods, not in agreement with me, but as if he's heard this all before.
You know what? I gotta tell you, I don't think it's that complicated.
Of course it is, I say, sitting down on the sofa.
Not really,
Jessie says, following suit, sitting down opposite me. His voice is growing less patient by the second.
You and I are married. We have been together, have loved each other forever. We belong together.
Jessie,
no, he says. Why do I feel like I have to convince you to be with me? This isn't... You should never have done what you did. How could you agree to marry this guy?
You don't...
You're my wife, Emma. We stood in front of 100 people, right down the road at that goddamn lighthouse, and promised to love each other for the rest of our lives. I lost you once, and I did everything I could to get back to you. Now I'm here, I'm back, and I'm in danger of losing you all over again? This is supposed to be the happy part. Now that we're here together, this is all supposed to be the easy stuff.
It's not that simple.
It should be. That's what I'm saying. It should be that fucking simple.
I am both stunned at the anger directed at me and surprised it took this long for it to surface. Yeah, well, it's not, okay? Life doesn't always work out the way you think it will. I learned that when you left on a plane 3 years ago and disappeared.
Because I survived a crash over the Pacific Ocean. I watched everyone else on that helicopter die. I lived on a tiny scrap of a goddamn rock, alone, trying to figure out a way to get back to you. Meanwhile, what did you do? Forget about me by August? Submit for a name change by Christmas?
Jessie, you know that's not true.
You want to talk about the truth? The truth is, you gave up on me.
You were gone! My voice goes from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and I can feel that my emotions are bursting out of me like a horse kept too long behind a gate. We thought you were dead!
I honestly thought, Jessie says, that you and I loved each other in a way that we could never, ever forget about each other.
I never forgot you. Never. I have always loved you. I still love you.
You got engaged to someone else!
When I thought that you were dead! If I had known you were alive, I would have waited every day for you.
Well, now you know I'm alive, and instead of coming back to me, you're sitting on the fence. You're here with me, crying about him in the shower.
I love you, Jessie, and even when I thought you were gone, I loved you. But I couldn't spend my life loving a man who was no longer here, and I didn't think that's what you'd want for me either.
You don't know what I'd want, he says.
No, I say. I don't. I barely know you anymore, and you barely know me, and I feel like you want to keep pretending that we do.
I know you, he says. Don't tell me that I don't know you. You are the only person in my entire life that I have truly, truly known, that I know loved me, that I have understood and accepted for exactly who they are. I know everything there is to know about you.
I shake my head. No, Jessie, you know everything about the person I was up until the day you left, but you don't know me now. Nor do you seem to have any interest in seeing me for who I am today, or for sharing with me who you are today.
What are you talking about?
I'm different, Jessie. I was in my 20s when you left. I'm 31 now. I don't care about Los Angeles and writing travel pieces anymore. I care about my family. I care about my bookstore. I'm not the same as I was when you left. The loss of you changed me. I changed.
I mean, fine, you changed because I was gone, I get that. You got scared, you were grieving, so you came back to Acton because it felt safe, and you took over your parents' store because it was easy. But you don't have to do any of that anymore. I'm back. We can go home to California. We can finally go to Puglia. I bet you can even sell some pieces to a few magazines next year. You don't have to have this life anymore.
But I'm already shaking my head and trying to tell him no before he's even finished. You are not understanding me, I say. Maybe at first I came home to retreat from the world, and sure, initially I took the job at the store because it was available. But I love my life now, Jessie. I choose to live in Massachusetts. I choose to run my store. I want this for myself. I look at Jesse's face as he searches mine. I try a different tactic, a different way of explaining to him. When I'm in a sad mood, do you know what I do to cheer myself up?
You eat French fries and have a Diet Coke,
Jessie says, just as I say, I practice the piano. The difference in our answers startles him. His body deflates slightly, pulling away from me. I can see, as it quickly wipes across his face, that it's hard for him to reconcile my answer with who he believes that I am. I imagine for a moment that the next words out of his mouth might be, "You play the piano?" And I'd say yes, and I'd explain how I got started, and that I only know a few songs, and that I'm not that good, but that it relaxes me when I'm feeling stressed. I tell him how Homer is normally asleep under it when I want to play, so I have to pick him up and put him on the bench beside me. But that it's so nice to sit there next to my cat and play Für Elisa, especially when I pretend Für Elisa is about his fur. It would mean so much if Jesse wanted to fall in love with who I am today, if he opened up and let me fall in love with the truth about who he is now. But none of that happens. Jesse just says,
"So you play piano. What does that prove?"
And when he says it, I know that the gap between us is even larger than I thought. That we are different people now. We grew apart, Jesse. I don't know anything about what your life has been like for the past 3.5 years, and you won't talk about it. But you are different. You can't go through what you went through and not be different.
I don't need to talk about what happened to me to prove to you that I still love you, that I'm still the person you've always loved.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think you're trying to pretend that we can just pick up where we left off. I was too, but that's not possible. Life doesn't work that way. What I've been through in my life affects the person that I am today, and that's true for you too. Whatever you went through out there, you can't keep it bottled inside.
I've told you I don't want to talk about it.
Why not? I say to him. How are we supposed to be honest with each other about our future if you won't even tell me the most basic elements of your past? You say that you know that everything can be exactly how it was, but before you left, we never had huge parts of our lives that we just didn't talk about. We didn't have any history that we didn't share. And now we do. I have Sam, and come on, Jesse, you have scars on your body. Your finger is... Jesse slams his fist into the pillow cushions underneath us. It would be a violent action if it hadn't landed in such a soft place, and I wonder if that was by design or by accident.
What do you want to know, Emma? For crying out loud. What do you want to know? That the doctors found 2 types of skin cancer? That when they found me, you could see the bone of my wrists and my ribs through my chest? That I had to have 4 root canals and it feels like half my mouth is fake now? Is that what you want to know? You want to know that I was stung by a Portuguese man-o'-war as I swam looking for safety? You want to know I couldn't get it off of me? That it just kept fucking stinging me? That the pain was so bad I thought I was dying? That the doctors say I'll have this scar for years, maybe forever? Or maybe you just want me to admit how awful it was living out on that rock. You want me to tell you how many days I spent looking out at the sea, just waiting, telling myself I just had to make it until tomorrow, because you'd come for me, you or my parents or my brothers. But none of you came, none of you found me, no one did.
We didn't know. We didn't know how to find you.
I know that, he says. I'm not mad at anyone for that. What I'm mad about is that you forgot about me, that you moved on and replaced me, that I'm back and I still don't have you. I didn't replace you. You got rid of my name at the end of yours, and you told another man you'd marry him. What else could that possibly be? What other word would you use?
I didn't replace you, I say again, this time weakly. I love you.
If that's true, then this is simple. Be with me. Help me put us back together.
I can feel Jesse's eyes on me even as I look away. I turn to look out the window, to the blanket of snow covering the backyard. It is white and clean. It looks as soft as a cloud. When I was a kid, I loved the snow. Then when I moved to California, I used to tell people I'd never leave the sun, that I never wanted to see snow again. But now, I can't imagine a green Christmas, and I know that if I left, I would miss that feeling of coming in from the cold. I have changed over time. That's what people do. People aren't stagnant. We evolve in reaction to our pleasures and our pains. Jesse is a different man than he was before. I am a different woman. And what has confused me ever since I found out he was alive is now crystal clear. We are 2 people who are madly in love with our old selves. And that is not the same as being in love. You can't capture love in a bottle. You can't hold on to it with both hands and force it to stay with you. What has happened to us is no one's fault. Neither of us did anything wrong. But when Jesse left, life took us in opposite directions and turned us into different people. We grew apart because we were apart. And maybe that means that even though we can finally be together, we shouldn't be. The thought cracks open my chest. I am perfectly still, but feel as if I'm caught in a riptide, barely able to see how I can get my head out and above the water. I don't think I was ever afraid that loving both of them made me a bad person. I was afraid that loving Sam made me a bad person. I was afraid that I would pick Sam, that my heart would love Sam, that my soul would need Sam. You're not supposed to forsake the man who journeyed home to you. You're supposed to be Penelope. You're supposed to knit the shroud day in and day out and stay up every night unraveling it to keep the suitors at bay. You're not supposed to have a life of your own, needs of your own. You're not supposed to love again. But I did. That's exactly what I did. Jesse moves closer to me, gently puts his hands on my arms.
If you love me, Emma, then be with me.
It's a scary thought, isn't it? That every single person on this planet could lose their one true love and live to love again. It means the one you love could love again if they lost you. But it also means I know Jesse will be okay. He will be happy one day, without me. I don't think I can be with you, I say. I don't think we're right for each other anymore. Jesse's arms slump down around him. His posture sinks. His eyes collapse shut. It's one of those moments in life when you can't believe that the truth is true, that the world shook out like this. I don't end up with Jesse. After all of this, all we've been through, we aren't going to grow old together. I'm sorry, I say.
I have to go.
Where are you going to go? We're snowed in. He grabs his jacket and puts on his shoes.
I'll just go to the car. I don't care. I just need to be alone right now.
He opens the front door and slams it behind him. I go to the door and open it again to see his back as he walks toward the car, trudging through the snow. He knows I'm behind him, but stops me before I can even say a word by lifting his arm up and giving me the universal sign for don't. So I don't. I close the door. I lean against it. I slink down to the floor and I cry. Jesse and I were once ripped apart, and now we've grown apart. The same hearts, broken twice. Over an hour has passed, and Jesse has not yet come back. I stand up and peek through the front window to see if he's still in the car. He's sitting in the driver's seat with his head down. I look around the front of the house. The warm sun has started to melt some of the snow. The roads in the distance look, if not cleared, at least a bit traveled. We could leave here right now if we wanted to. We just have a little shoveling to do. But my guess is Jesse is in no rush to be trapped in a car with me. My eye drifts back to the car, and I see him moving in the driver's seat. He's looking through my envelope. He's looking at pictures and reading notes, maybe even the Beacon article about his disappearance. I shouldn't watch him. I should give him the privacy that he walked out there for. But I can't look away. I see a white envelope in his hands, and I know exactly what it is. The letter I wrote him to say goodbye. He fiddles with the envelope, flipping it back and forth, deciding whether he's going to open it. My heart beats like a drum in my chest. I put my hand on the doorknob, ready to run out there and stop him, but I don't. Instead, I look back out the window. I watch as he puts a finger under the flap and tears it open. I turn away from the window as if he's spotted me. I know that he didn't. I just know that I'm scared. He's going to read that letter, and everything is going to get worse. It will be all the proof he needs that I forgot him, that I gave up on us, that I gave up on him. I turn back to the window and watch him read it. He stares at the page for a long time. And then he puts it down and looks out the side window. Then he picks it up again and starts reading it a second time. After a while, he puts his hand on the car door and opens it. I run from the window and sit on the sofa, pretending I've been here the whole time. I never should have written that goddamn letter. The front door opens, and there he is, staring at me. He has the letter in his hand. He's perfectly still, stunningly quiet. I wrote the letter so that I could let go of him. There's no hiding that. So if that's the evidence he's looking for, that I've been a terrible wife, an awful person, a disloyal soul, well, then I guess he got what he was looking for. But Jesse's reaction surprises me.
What is this about going crazy on the roof?
He says calmly. What? I ask. He hands me the letter as if I've never read it. I stand up and take it from him. I open it, even though I already know what it says. The handwriting looks hurried. You can see at the end that there are splotches of ink where water must have hit it. Tears, obviously. I can't stop myself from rereading it, seeing it through new eyes. Dear Jesse, you've been gone for more than 2 years, but there hasn't been a day that has gone by when I haven't thought of you. Sometimes I remember the way you smelled salty after you'd gone for a swim in the ocean, or I wonder whether you'd have liked the movie I just saw. Other times I just think about your smile. I think about how your eyes would crinkle, and I'd always fall a little bit more in love with you. I think about how you would touch me, how I would touch you. I think about that a lot. The memory of you hurt so much at first. The more I thought about your smile, your smell, the more it hurt. But I liked punishing myself. I liked the pain because the pain was you. I don't know if there is a right and wrong way to grieve. I just know that losing you has gutted me in a way I honestly didn't think was possible. I've felt pain I didn't think was human. At times, it has made me lose my mind. Let's just say that I went a little crazy up on our roof. At times, it has nearly broken me. And I'm happy to say that now is a time when your memory brings me so much joy that just thinking of you brings a smile to my face. I'm also happy to say that I'm stronger than I ever knew. I have found meaning in life that I never would have guessed, and now I'm surprising myself once again by realizing that I am ready to move forward. I once thought grief was chronic, that all you could do was appreciate the good days and take them along with the bad. And then I started to think that maybe the good days aren't just days. Maybe the good days can be good weeks, good months, good years. Now I wonder if grief isn't something like a shell. You wear it for a long time, and then one day you realize you've outgrown it, so you put it down. It doesn't mean that I want to let go of the memories of you or the love I have for you, but it does mean that I want to let go of the sadness. I won't ever forget you, Jessie. I don't want to, and I don't think I'm capable of it. But I do think I can put the pain down. I think I can leave it on the ground and walk away, only coming back to visit every once in a while, no longer carrying it with me. Not only do I think I can do that, but I think I need to. I will carry you in my heart always, but I cannot carry your loss on my back anymore. If I do, I'll never find any new joy for myself. I will crumble under the weight of your memory. I have to look forward, into a future where you cannot be, instead of back to a past filled with what we had. I have to let you go, and I have to ask you to let me go. I truly believe that if I work hard, I can have the sort of life for myself that you always wanted for me. A happy life, a satisfied life, where I am loved and I love in return. I need your permission to find room to love someone else. I'm so sorry that we never got the future we talked about. Our life together would have been grand. But I'm going out into the world with an open heart now, and I'm going to go wherever life takes me. I hope you know how beautiful and freeing it was to love you when you were here. You were the love of my life. Maybe it's selfish to want more. Maybe it's greedy to want another love like that. But I can't help it. I do. So I said yes to a date with Sam Kemper. I like to think you would like him for me, that you'd approve. But I also want you to know, in case it doesn't go without saying, that no one could ever replace you. It's just that I want more love in my life, Jessie. And I'm asking for your blessing to go find it. Love, Emma. I know I'm adding new splotches, new tears to the page, but I can't seem to stop them from coming. When I finally look at Jesse, his eyes are watery. He puts his arm around me and pulls me in tight. The pain between us feels sharp enough to cut, heavy enough to sink us. "What did you do on the roof?" he says again, this time softer, kinder. I catch my breath, and then I tell him. "Everyone said you were dead," I start, "and I was convinced they were all wrong and that you were trying to come home to me. I just knew it. So one day, when I couldn't take it anymore, I went up to the roof and saw this small sliver of ocean, and I became convinced that you were going to swim to shore. I got your binoculars, and I stood there, watching the small little piece of shoreline, waiting for you to surface." Jessie is looking right at me, listening to my every word. "Marie found me and told me you weren't going to swim back to me, that you weren't going to just appear on the beach like that, that you were dead. She said that I had to face it and start dealing with it, and so I did. But it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I wasn't sure I'd make it through the day. Sometimes I was living hour by hour. I've never been more confused or felt less like myself." Jessie pulls me in tighter, holding me. "Do you realize that we were both looking out at the same ocean looking for each other?" he says. I close my eyes and think of him waiting for me. I remember what it felt like to wait for him. "I had this idea in the car, that I would look through that envelope and find all of the stuff in there, the memories and the pictures, and that I would show you how happy we were together. I thought I'd be able to make you see that you were wrong, that we are the same people we were when we loved each other, that we are meant to be together forever. But you know what I realized? What? I say.
I hate your hair.
I pull back from him, and he laughs.
I know that's not very nice to say, but it's true. I was looking at those pictures of you back then with your gorgeous long hair, and I always loved how it wasn't really blonde, but it wasn't really brown. I mean, I loved your hair. And now I'm back, and you've chopped it off, and it's blonde, and, maybe I'm supposed to like it, but I was sitting in the car thinking, she'll grow her hair out again. And then I thought, well, wait, she likes her hair like that.
Yes, I do, I say, stung.
That's exactly my point. This is you now. Short blonde hair. My Emma had long, light brown hair, and that's not you anymore. I can't just look at you and ignore your hair. I have to look at you as who you are, right now, today.
And you don't like my hair, I say. Jesse looks at me.
I'm sure it's beautiful, he says, but right now, all I can see is that it's not like it used to be.
I find myself leaning back into him, putting my head back onto his chest.
The Emma I knew wanted to live in California, and she wanted to be as far away from her parents' bookstore as possible. And she wasn't going to sit still until she'd seen as much of the world as she could. She loved tiny hotel shampoo bottles and the smell of the airport. She didn't know how to play a single note on a piano, and she loved me and only me, he says. But I guess that's not you anymore.
I shake my head without looking at him.
And I have to stop pretending that it is, especially because I'm not the same either. I know it seems like I don't know that, but I do. I know I've changed. I know I'm
surprised to see that Jesse has begun to cry. I hold him tighter, listening, wishing I could take the pain away, spare him any more hardship on top of what he's already faced. I want so badly to protect him from the world, to ensure nothing ever hurts him again. But I can't, of course. No one can do that for anybody.
I'm messed up, Emma,
he continues.
I'm not okay, I don't think. I keep acting as if I feel okay here, but I don't. I don't feel like I belong anywhere. Not here, not there. I'm struggling to keep it together almost every moment of the day. One minute I feel overwhelmed by how much food is around, and then the next minute I can't bring myself to eat any of it. The night I landed, I woke up around 3 and went down to the kitchen and ate so much I made myself sick. The doctors say that I still need to be mindful of what I eat and how much, but I just want to eat nothing or everything. There's no in between. It's not just food either. When we were in the shower earlier, I was thinking we should get a bucket and save some of this water, store it.
He's finally ready to say how he really feels, and it's all spilling out of him like a turned-over gallon of milk.
I can't even stand to look at my hand. I can't stand to see that my finger is still gone. I know it sounds so stupid, but I think I thought that if I could just get home, then things could go back to the way they were. I'd get you back, and I'd feel normal again, and my pinky would, magically reappear or something.
He looks at me, and he breathes in and then breathes out, all with great effort. Do you want to sit? I ask him, pulling him toward the sofa. I sit him down, and I take a seat beside him. I put my hand on his back. It's okay, I say. You can talk about it. You can tell me anything.
I hate even thinking about it, he says. It was awful, all of it. Losing my finger was maybe one of the most painful things I've ever been through. I have been working so hard to block it out.
I am quiet in the hopes that he will keep talking, that he will continue to be honest with me and with himself, that he will share what he's been through, what plagues him.
I sliced it almost clean through,
he says finally.
Trying to open an oyster with a rock. I thought it might heal on its own, but it wouldn't. I lived with it growing more and more infected until I finally just had to.
I can see that he can't bring himself to speak the words. But he doesn't have to. I know what he can't say. He had to cut off his own finger. Somewhere in the years he's been gone, he was forced to save his hand the only way he could. I'm so sorry, I say to him. I can't imagine what else happened, How many days he went without food, how near he came to grave dehydration, the searing pain of being stung over and over as he was trying to swim to rescue. But I am starting to think that he will tackle that pain when he is ready, talking and admitting more as he grows stronger. It will be a long process. It may even be years until he can unpack it all. And even then, he'll never be able to erase it completely. The same way I'll never be able to erase the ache of grieving him. These are the things that have made us who we are. I step away from Jesse for a moment and head into the kitchen. I look through the cabinets and find an old box of Earl Grey. "How about some tea?" I offer. He looks up at me and nods. It is so gentle as to be almost imperceptible. I put 2 mugs of water in the microwave. I grab the tea bags. "Keep talking," I say. "I'm listening." His voice picks up again, and I realize that he must have, whether it was conscious or subconscious, been waiting for permission.
"I think I've been trying to undo the last however many years,"
he says.
"I've been trying to put everything back the way it was before I left, so it can be as if it never happened. But that doesn't work. I mean, obviously it doesn't, I know that."
I stop the microwave before it beeps, pulling the mugs out and putting the tea bags in. The smell of the tea reminds me of Marie. I sit back down next to Jesse, putting a steaming cup in front of him. He takes it into his hand, but he doesn't drink it yet.
"I'm not the same person I was back then,"
he says.
"You know it, and I know it, but I just keep thinking that with a little effort I can change that. But I can't. I can't, can I?"
He puts the mug down and starts gesticulating with his hands.
"I don't want to spend the rest of my life in Acton," he says. "I've spent too long trapped somewhere I didn't want to be. I want to go back to California. I respect that Blair Books means as much to you as it does, but I don't get it. We worked so hard to move away from New England, to get away from the life that our parents were pushing us toward. We sacrificed so much so that we could travel, not so that we could stay in one place. I don't understand why you came back here, why you chose to spend your life here, doing exactly what your parents always told you you should do. I'm really, really angry, deep down in my heart, and I wish that I didn't feel that way, and I hate myself for feeling it, but I'm furious that you could fall in love with someone else. I know you say that it doesn't mean you forgot me, but, at least right now, it sure sounds like it to me. And I'm not saying that we couldn't get past that if everything else about us made sense, but I don't know. I'm mad at you, and I'm mad at Friendlies for turning into a Johnny whatever you called it. I'm mad at almost everything that changed without me. I know I need to work on that. I know it's just one of the strings of issues that I'm facing. I know I said that now was supposed to be the easy part, but I don't know why I thought that. Coming home is hard. This was always going to be hard. I'm sorry I didn't see that until now. Of course I've changed, and of course you've changed. There is no way we could be the same after losing each other. We meant too much to each other for that to happen. So, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm miserable, and I'm angry. But I guess I do get it. What you said in that letter makes some sense to me. You had to let go of me if you were ever going to have a chance at a normal life. I know you loved me then. I know it wasn't easy. And obviously I know this is hard for you too. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't see what you see.
He puts his arms around me, pulling me close to him, and then he says what has taken us days to understand.
We loved each other, and we lost each other. And now, even though we still love each other, the pieces don't fit like they used to.
I could make myself fit for him. He could make himself fit for me. But that's not true love.
This is it for us,
Jesse says.
We're over now.
I look in his eyes. Yeah, I think we are. After everything we've been through, I never predicted it ending like this. Jesse and I stay still, holding each other, not yet ready to fully let go. His hands are still a little bit frozen. I take them in my own. I hold them, sharing the heat of my body. He pulls one hand away to brush a hair off of my face. I think, maybe, this is what true love means. Maybe true love is warming someone up from the cold, or tenderly brushing a hair away because you care about them with every bone in your body, even though you know what's between you won't last. I don't know where we go from here, I say. Jesse puts his chin on my head, breathing in, and then he pulls away slightly to look at me.
You still don't have to be back until late tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I say.
So we can stay, he says, for another day. We can take our time.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that I know what's ahead of us, but I'm not ready yet. I'm just not ready, and I don't see why we can't spend a little bit more time with each other, a little bit more time being happy together. I've waited so long to be here with you. It seems silly to squander it just because it won't last.
I smile, charmed. I consider what he's saying and realize that it feels exactly right to me, like being handed a glass of water just as you realize you're thirsty. That sounds good, I say. Let's just have a nice time together, not worry about the future.
Thank you.
Okay, so until tomorrow, you and I will leave the real world on the other side of that door, knowing that we will face it soon. But for now, we can let things be the way they were, once.
And then tomorrow we go home,
Jesse says. Yeah, I say, and we start to learn how to live without each other again.
You'll marry Sam,
Jesse says. I nod. And you'll probably move to California.
But for now, for one more day,
we'll be Emma and Jesse.
The way we were.
I laugh. Yeah, the way we were. Jesse builds a fire and then joins me on the sofa. He puts his arm around me and pulls me into the crook of his shoulder. I rest my head on him. It feels good to be in his arms, to be satisfied with this moment, to not wonder what the future holds. I relish the way he feels next to me, cherish the joy of having him near. I know I won't always have it. It starts snowing again, small flurries landing on the already white ground. I get up from Jesse's arms and walk over to the sliding glass doors to watch it fall. Everything is quiet and soft. The snow is white and clean, not yet crushed under the weight of boots. Hear me out, I say, turning back to Jesse.
Uh-oh,
he says. Snow angels.
Snow angels?
Snow angels. As soon as we step out into the snow, I realize the flaw in my plan. We will sully the unsullied snow by walking in it. We will crush the uncrushed just by being here.
Are you sure this is what you want to do?
Jesse asks me.
Imagine how good it will feel to watch a movie inside by the fire.
No, come on, this is better.
I'm not sure about that,
Jesse says, and from the tone of his voice, I now understand why people sometimes describe the air as bitter cold. The cold is not bitter. They are bitter about the cold. I run ahead, hoping he'll catch up to me. I try to remember what it felt like to once be a teenager with him. I trip and let myself fall. I drop face first into the snow. I turn around. I see Jesse running to catch up with me. Come on, slowpoke, I say as I stretch my arms out and widen my legs. I windshield wiper them back and forth until I hit the icy snow that has crystallized onto the grass beneath it. Jesse catches up and plops himself down next to me. He extends his limbs and starts pushing the snow out of the way. I get up and watch him. Nice work, I say. Excellent form. Jesse stands and turns to look at his creation. Then he looks at mine. You can say it, I tell him. Yours is better.
Don't beat yourself up,
he says.
Some people just have a natural, raw talent for snow art, and I'm one of them.
I roll my eyes and then step lightly in the center of his angel where the footprints won't show. I lean forward and draw a halo where his head once was. There, I say. Now it's art. But I have made a rookie mistake out here in the snow. I have turned my back to him, and when I stand up, he pelts me with a snowball. I shake my head and then very slowly and deliberately make a snowball myself.
You don't want to do that,
he says, just a hint of fear in his voice. You started it.
Still, what you're planning on doing would be a mistake,
he says. Oh yeah? What are you gonna do? I ask, slowly sauntering up to him, savoring the very trivial power I currently wield.
I will,
he starts to say, but then he swiftly leans toward me and knocks the snowball out of my hand. It hits my leg on the way down. You just hit me with my own snowball, I say. I gather up another one and throw it at him. It hits him square in the neck. I have declared war. Jesse gets in a snowball to my arm and one to the top of my head. I get one that hits him straight in the chest. I run away when I see a huge one forming in his hand. I run, and then I trip on the snow and fall down. I brace myself, waiting for a snowball to hit me, but when I open my eyes, I see that Jesse is standing right above me.
Truce?
He asks. I nod, and he throws the last snowball far out in the distance.
How about that warm fire and those blankets?
He asks me. This time I don't hesitate. I'm in. When we're thawed, Jesse heads to the stack of books and movies that have been sitting in this cabin for years. There are supermarket paperbacks so well worn that they have white line creases on the spine. There are DVDs from the early 2000s and even a few VHS tapes. We pick out an old movie and try to turn on the TV. It doesn't respond.
Is it just me, or does it appear that the television is dead?
Jesse says. I look behind to see if it's plugged in. It is, but when I hit a few buttons, nothing happens.
It's broken,
he says.
I bet it's been broken for years and no one thought to turn it on.
A book then, I say, walking over to the stack of paperbacks. I've come to realize it's a wonderful way to pass the time. I glance through the spines of the books on the shelf and spot a thin detective novel that I've never heard of among the John Grishams and James Pattersons. I pull it out. Why don't we read this?
Together?
I'll read to you, you read to me, I say. Jesse isn't entirely sold. The sun starts to set, and even though we aren't in danger of being cold in here, Jesse adds logs to the fire. He finds an old bottle of red wine underneath the bar, and I grab 2 jelly jars from the cabinets. We drink the bottle as we sit by the fire. We talk about the times we made each other blissfully happy, and we laugh about the times we made each other blisteringly mad. We talk about our love story like 2 people reflecting on a movie they just saw, which is to say, we talk about it with the fresh knowledge of how it all ends. All of the memories are ever so slightly different now, tinged with bittersweetness.
You were always the voice of reason,
Jesse says.
Always the one stopping us from going just one step further than we should.
Yeah, but you always gave me the courage to do what I wanted to do, I say. I'm not sure I would have had the guts to do half the things I did if I didn't have you believing in me, egging me on. We talk about our wedding, the ceremony by the lighthouse, our brief dalliance here, our reception down the street. I tell Jesse that my memories of that day aren't darkened by what happened later, that it still brings me nothing but joy to think about, that I'm thankful for it, no matter where we have ended up. Jesse says he's not sure he agrees with me. He says it feels sad to him, that it represents a painful naivete about the future, that he feels sorry for the Jesse of that day, the Jesse who doesn't know what is ahead of him. It feels like a reminder of what he could have had if he hadn't ever gotten on that helicopter. But then he says that he hopes, one day, to see it the way I do.
If I ever come around to your way of thinking,
Jesse says,
I promise I'll find you and tell you.
I would like that, I say. I'll always want to know how you are.
Well, then it's a good thing you'll always be easy to find,
he says. Yeah, I say. I'm not going anywhere. The fire slows, and Jesse moves toward it, rearranging the logs, blowing on it. He turns back to me, the calm fire now starting to roar again.
You think you would have ever gone to school in LA if it wasn't for me?
He says. Maybe, I say. Maybe not. I know that I wouldn't have been as happy there without you. And I wouldn't have even applied to that travel writing class without you. And I definitely wouldn't have spent a year in Sydney or all those months in Europe if you weren't with me. I think there were a lot of things I never would have done. Good, bad, beautiful, tragic, however you want to describe them. I think there were a lot of things I wouldn't have had the nerve to do if it wasn't for you.
Sometimes I wonder if I would have just let my parents push me toward pro training if I hadn't met you,
he says.
You were the first person who didn't care how good of a swimmer I was, the first person who just liked me for me. That was life-changing, truly."
He turns and looks at me intently.
"You're a lot of the reason why I am who I am," he says.
"Oh, Jesse," I say, so much tenderness and affection that my heart is soaked. "There is no me without you." Jesse kisses me then. A kiss is just a kiss, I guess, but I've never been kissed like this before. It is sad and loving and wistful and scared and peaceful. When we finally pull away from each other, I realize I'm tipsy and Jesse might just be drunk. The bottle is gone, and as I go to put down my glass, I accidentally tip it over. That unmistakable cling and thud of a wine bottle hitting the floor is not followed by the familiar crash that sometimes accompanies it. Grateful, I pick up the intact bottle and our glasses. I think it's time to switch to the soft stuff. I get us some glasses of water and remind him about the book.
"You really want to read a book together?"
he says. It's that or taboo. Jesse acquiesces, grabbing blankets and pillows from the couch. We lie down on the floor, close to the fire. I open up the book I pulled aside earlier. "The Reluctant Adventures of Cole Crane," I begin. I read to children's groups on Sunday mornings sometimes. I've started getting more confident, making up voices for the characters and trying to make the narration come alive. But I don't do any of that now. I'm just me, reading a book to someone I love. Unfortunately, it's a very bad book. Laughably bad. The women are called dames. The men drink whiskey and make bad puns. I barely get through 5 pages before handing it over to Jesse. "You have to read this. I can't do it," I say.
"No," he says. "Come on. I waited years just to hear your voice."
And so I read some more. By the time my eyes feel dry from the fire, I'm reluctantly invested in what happens to the crooked yellow caper, and I find myself wanting Cole Crane to just kiss Daphne Monroe already. Jesse agrees to read the second half while I lie in his lap with my eyes closed. His voice is soothing and calm. I listen as it ebbs and flows, as his words fall up and down. When he's been reading for over an hour, I sit up and take the book out of his hand. I put it on the floor. I know what I'm about to do. I know that it is the last time that I will ever do it. I know that I want it to mean something. For years, I never had a chance to say goodbye. Now that I have it, I know this is the way I want to do it. So I kiss him the way you kiss people when it is the start of something. And it starts something. I pull my shirt over my head. I unbutton the fly of Jesse's jeans. I lay my body flush against his. It is the last time I will feel his warmth, the last time I will look down to see him below me with his hands on my waist. It is the last time I will tell him I love him by the way I sink my hips and touch his chest. He never looks anywhere but at me. I watch as his gaze moves down my body, watching me, taking it all in, trying to pin it to memory. I feel seen, truly seen, cherished and savored. Don't ever let anyone tell you the most romantic part of love is the beginning. The most romantic part is when you know it has to end. I don't know that I've ever been as present in a moment as I am this very second, as I make love to a man I once believed was my soulmate, who I now know is meant for someone else and something else, is meant to build his life somewhere else. His eyes have never looked more captivating. His body underneath me has never felt safer. I trace my hands over the scars on his body. I intertwine my left hand with his right one. I want him to know he's beautiful to me. When it's over, I am too tired and stunned to mourn. I crawl back into the crook of his arm and I hand him the book again. "Read," I say, "just a little while longer." All of this, just a little while longer.
"Yeah,"
Jesse says.
"Anything you want."
I fall asleep in his arms, listening to him read the end of the book, happy to learn that Cole grabs Daphne by the shoulders and says, finally,
"My God, woman, don't you know it's you, that it's always been you?"
Falling out of love with someone you still like feels exactly like lying in a warm bed and hearing the alarm clock. No matter how good you feel right now, you know it's time to go. The sun is shining brightly in my face, and Jesse's watch is beeping. The cover of The Reluctant Adventures of Cole Crane is bent back underneath his leg. The fire is out. Time to get up, I say. Jesse, still trying to adjust to wakefulness, nods his head and rubs his face. We both head into the kitchen and grab some food. I drink a full glass of water. Jesse drinks cold coffee from the pot. He looks out the kitchen window as he drinks, and then he turns back to me.
It's snowing again,
he says. Hard? I ask. I look around to the front window to see that there's a fresh blanket of snow on the driveway.
We should get on the road soon,
he says.
I think it looks pretty clear right now, but we don't want to wait too much longer.
Okay, good idea. I'm going to get in the shower. Jesse nods but doesn't say anything else. He doesn't follow me up the stairs to join me. He doesn't make a joke about me being naked. Instead, he moves toward the fireplace and starts to clean up. It is then, as I start walking up the stairs alone, that I feel the full weight of the new truth. Jesse is home. Jesse is alive. But Jesse is no longer mine. Within 45 minutes, Jesse and I have gathered our things and are ready to go. The dishes are done, the remaining groceries are packed up, the mess we made has been cleaned. Even The Reluctant Adventures of Cole Crane is back on the shelf, as if it had never been read. If I didn't know better, I'd swear we were never here. Jesse grabs the keys and opens the front door for me. It is with a heavy heart that I pass through it. I don't offer to drive because I know he won't let me. He's going to do things his way, and I'm going to let him. So I get into the passenger seat, and Jesse puts the car in reverse. I take one last look as we pull away from the cabin. There are 2 tracks of footprints leading from the front door. They start out close together and veer off in different directions as our feet head for opposite sides of the car. I know those footprints will be gone soon. I know they might not make it to tonight if it keeps snowing like this. But it feels good to be able to look at something and understand it. The footprints start off together and they grow apart. I get it. It's fine. It's the truth. 2 True Loves, or How to Make Peace with the Truth About Love. Jesse and I are almost to New Hampshire by the time we start actually having a conversation. We've just been listening to the radio, stuck in our own heads for the past hour and a half. I have thought mainly of Sam, about the stubble that always grows on his face, about the fact that he's clearly going to go gray early, about how I am eager to go back to spending my evenings with him at the piano. I hope that when I tell him he's the one I want, he believes me. It's been rough going, but I have finally figured out who I am and what I want. In fact, never has my identity felt so crystal clear. I am Emma Blair, bookstore owner, sister, daughter, aunt, amateur pianist, cat lover, New Englander, woman who wants to marry Sam Kemper. That doesn't mean that it's without pain and sadness. There is still loss. I know deep in my gut that the moment when I get out of this car, when Jesse drops me off and says goodbye, I will feel as if I am breaking. I feel the same way I did when I was 9 and my mom took me to get my ears pierced for my birthday. My party was that night. I had a blue dress that I had picked out myself. My mom and I picked out fake sapphire stud earrings to match. I felt very grown up. The woman put the gun to my right ear and told me it might hurt. I told her I was ready. The pierce shot through me like a shock. I wasn't sure which was worse, the pressure of the squeeze, the pain of the puncture, or the sting of the air on a fresh wound. I shuddered and closed my eyes. I kept them closed. My mom and the lady with the piercing gun asked me if I was okay, and I said, "Can you do the other one now, please?" And that ache, that sense that I knew exactly what to expect, and I knew that it would be awful, feels exactly like the ache inside me now. I know exactly how much it hurts to lose Jesse, and I'm in this car, waiting to be pierced.
When my parents have adjusted a bit,
Jesse says as we approach the state border.
and I feel like they will be okay if I leave. I'm just going right back to Santa Monica.
Oh, Santa Monica? Not interested in trying out San Diego or Orange County? Jesse shakes his head.
I think Santa Monica is my place. I mean, I thought you and I would spend the rest of our lives there. I wasn't sure what to make of the fact that you were back here. But you know what? I think it will be really good to go back on my own.
He says it as if it's just occurring to him that by letting me go, he has freed himself of some things. If you do go, will you let us all know how you are?
I have no intention of ever leaving anyone wondering where I am again.
I smile and squeeze his hand for a brief moment. I look out the window and watch as we pass bare brown trees and green highway signs.
And you,
Jesse says after a while.
You're gonna marry Sam and live here forever, huh?
If he'll have me, I say.
Why do you say that? Why wouldn't he have you?
I fiddle with the heat controls on my side of the car, aiming the air right on me. Because I've put him through hell, I say. Because I haven't been the easiest woman to be engaged to lately.
That's not your fault,
Jesse says.
That's not the whole story.
I know, I say, but I also know that I've hurt him. And the last time I spoke to him, he said not to call him, that he would call me when he was ready to talk.
Has he called you?
I check my phone again, just to be sure, but of course he hasn't called. No.
He'll take you back,
Jesse says. He's so sure of it that it makes me realize just how unsure I really am. I risked my relationship with Sam to see if there was something left with Jesse. I knew what I was doing when I did it. I'm not pretending I didn't. But now I know what I want. I want Sam, and I'm afraid that I may have lost him because I didn't know it earlier.
Well, if he doesn't take you back,
Jesse says, just as he realizes that he needs to be 3 lanes over. He doesn't finish his sentence right away. He's focused on the road. I wonder for a moment if he's going to say that if Sam doesn't marry me, he'll take me back. I am surprised at how unnatural and inaccurate that would be. Because I haven't been choosing between Sam or Jesse, it was never one or the other, even though at times I thought it was exactly that. It was about whether Jesse and I still had something or whether we didn't. I know, like I know that stealing is wrong and my mom is lying when she says she likes my dad's mint juleps, that what has happened between Jesse and me is because of Jesse and me, and not because of anyone waiting in the wings. We are over because we aren't right for each other anymore. If Sam doesn't want me to come home after all of this, Jesse will call me to make sure I'm okay and send postcards from sunny places, and we'll both know that I could join him, and we'll both know that I'm not going to, and we'll be okay with that. Because we had this. We had 3 days in Maine, where we reunited and broke our own hearts, and walked away in 2 pieces.
Sorry,
Jesse says now that he's been able to make it through the interchange and can focus on talking again.
What was I saying? Oh, right. If Sam doesn't take you back, I will personally kick his ass.
I laugh at the idea of Jesse kicking Sam's ass. It seems so absurd. Jesse could probably kick Sam's ass in about 3 seconds. It would be like one of those boxing matches where the one guy gets in a punch right off the bat and the poor sucker never knew what hit him. Sam, my adorable, sweetheart Sam, is a lover, not a fighter. I love that about him.
I'm serious,
Jesse says.
This is an insane situation. If he can't see that, I will personally see to it that he is in physical pain.
Oh, I say, joking with him. No, don't do that. I love him. I don't mean it as a profound announcement, despite how profoundly I feel it. But no matter how I say it, it's sort of an uncomfortable thing to say, given the circumstances. I watch Jesse swallow hard and then speak.
I'm happy for you,
Jesse says.
I am.
Thank you, I say, relieved at his magnanimity. I don't think he's being honest right now, but he's trying really hard. I have so much respect for him for that.
And that's going to conclude our discussion of him,
Jesse says.
Because otherwise I'm going to be ill.
Fair enough, I say, nodding my head. Happy to change the subject.
We'll be home not too long from now,
he says.
We're almost in Tewksbury.
Should we play I Spy or something? Jesse laughs.
Yeah, all right, he says. I spy with my little eye something blue.
Maybe relationships are supposed to end with tears or screams. Maybe they are supposed to conclude with two people saying everything they never said or ripping into each other in a way that can't be undone. I don't know. I've only really ended one relationship in my life. It is this one. And this one ends with a good-natured game of I Spy. We spot things, and we guess them, and we make each other laugh. And when Jesse pulls the car into the front parking lot of Blair Books, I know I only have a moment before the piercing gun comes to my ear. I love you, I say. I've always loved you. I'll always love you.
I know, he says. I feel the same way. Go grab the life you made for yourself.
I kiss him goodbye like you kiss your friends on New Year's. I don't have it in me to kiss him any other way. I gather my things and I put my hand on the car door, not yet ready to pull the handle. You were a wonderful person to love, I say. It felt so good to love you, to be loved by you.
Well, it was the easiest thing I ever did, he says.
I smile at him and then breathe in, preparing myself for the piercing pain of leaving. Will you promise me that you will take care of yourself? I say. That you'll call me if you need anything, that you'll... I don't know exactly how to phrase what I mean. He has been through so much, and I want him to promise me, promise all of us who care about him, that he will work through it. Jesse nods and waves me off.
I know what you mean, and I promise.
Okay, I say, smiling tenderly. I open the door, I put my feet onto the pavement, I get out of the car and close it behind me. Jesse waves at me and then puts his car in reverse. I watch him as he does a 3-point turn out of the lot. It hurts just as much as I thought it would. The pressure, the ache, the sting. I wave as he makes a left onto the main road, and then he's gone. I close my eyes for a moment, processing what has just happened. It's over. Jesse is alive and home, and our marriage is over. But then, when I open my eyes again, I realize where I am. My bookstore. I turn around and walk toward the door. I'm walking toward books and my family and that one day in spring when the sun feels like it will shine for you forever and the flowers will bloom for months. I am walking toward vegan cheddar grilled cheese and cat gifs and Piano Man. I am walking toward Sam. I am walking home. And just like the day I got my ears pierced, once the pain has come and gone, I've grown up. My mother and father are both in the store. Before I'm even close enough to say hi to them, I hear children crying in the far corner. Are the girls here? I ask the moment I hug my parents hello. With Marie in the children's section, my mom says.
How are you? How did everything go?
My dad asks. I start to answer, but there's so much to explain, and I'm not up for getting into the details just yet. I missed Sam, I say. Actually, that might just cover all of it, succinct and painless. They look at each other and smile, as if they are part of a two-man club that knew this is what I'd do all along. I hate the idea of being predictable, especially predictable to my parents. But, more than anything, I'm relieved that I seem to have made the right set of decisions. Because after all, they are my parents, and when you get to be old enough, it's finally okay to admit that they often do know best. I can hear Marie trying to calm down Sophie and Ava. I come around the side of the register to get a better view. The two girls are crying, red-faced. They are both holding opposite sides of their heads. I look back to my parents. Ava ran into Sophie and they hit each other in the head, my mom says. My father puts his finger to his ear, as if the sound of their screaming is going to burst his eardrum.
It's been great for business.
As the girl's sobbing dies down, reduced to the far more quiet but equally theatrical gulping for breath and frowning, Marie spots me and comes walking over. I turn to my parents. By the way, we have to talk about Tina, I say. Neither of my parents look me in the eye directly.
We can talk about it another time,
my dad says.
when things aren't so dramatic.
My mother averts her gaze, instantly focusing on straightening things underneath the register. My dad pretends as if he's deeply engaged in the store calendar sitting on the counter. I have been their daughter for too long to fall for this kind of crap. They are hiding something. What's going on? I ask. What are you two not saying? Oh, honey, it's nothing, my mom says, and I almost believe her. But then I see the look on my dad's face, a mixture of, is she buying this? And, oh God, we should just tell her.
We just have some, ideas for the management of the store,
my dad says finally.
But we should talk about it later.
When Marie makes her way to me and looks like she's afraid to tell me she borrowed my favorite sweater, I know she's in on it too. Come on, everybody, I'm dealing with too much stuff right now to have the patience for whatever this is. It's nothing, Marie says. I frown at her to let her know I don't believe it for a second. She folds like a cheap suit. Fine, I want the job. What job? I ask. The assistant manager position. Here? Yeah, I want it. Mom and Dad think it's a great idea, but obviously it's up to you. You want to work here? I say, still disbelieving. With me? Yes. At this store, I say. See, I knew it wasn't the right time to talk about this. No, I say, shaking my head. I'm just surprised. I know, she says, but this could be my something, like we talked about. Something outside of the house that has nothing to do with potty training or hearing and deafness. I think this idea is better than writing, actually. I'm excited about it, and it's something with adults, a reason to put on a nice pair of pants. Emma, I need a reason to put on pants. Okay, I say. I can't take on a full-time job, but an assistant manager position could be really good, especially because Mom and Dad could help fill in for me with the kids, or here if need be. I guess what I'm saying is, please hire me. But you used to be the manager. I'd be your boss, I say. Marie puts both of her hands up in mock surrender. It's your show. I know that I gave up the position and you've done a great job at it. I'm not trying to usurp anything. If, later on down the line, I decide that I want to take on more or be a more vocal participant in the store, that's my problem and I'll deal with it. I can always take on a manager job at one of Mike's stores if it comes to that. But right now, what I really want is to spend my time here, with you. Marie has said her piece, and now it's up to me to respond. I can feel my sister's, my father's, and my mother's eyes on me. Sophie and Ava, now calm, are pulling on Marie's leg. So, Marie says. I start laughing. It's all so absurd. All three of them start to worry, unsure what exactly I find so funny, so I get hold of myself in an effort to not keep them in suspense any longer. It scares me, the idea of having Marie working under me. It makes me sort of uncomfortable, and I'm slightly worried that it will undermine the good relationship we've started to build. But I also think that it could turn out to be great. I'd have someone to share this store with, someone who understands how important it is, who has a passion for not just books, but this store's history. And working together, spending more time with each other, could bring us even closer. So I think this is a risk I'm willing to take. I'm ready to bet on Marie and me. Okay, I say, you're hired. The smile that erupts across my father's face is so wide and sincere that the teenage version of me would have threatened to barf. But I'm not a teenager anymore, and it won't kill me to give my father everything he's ever dreamed of. All right, Dad, I say, your girls are running your store. For the first time in my entire life, I wonder if perhaps Marie and I might actually prove to be greater together than the sum of our parts. Emma and Marie. Our moment of celebration is interrupted by a man who tells my dad he is looking for a book for his wife. I overhear as my dad asks what it's called. The man says, I don't know, and I'm not sure who wrote it. I don't remember what it's about, but I do remember that the cover was blue. I watch my parents give each other a knowing glance, and then both of them try to help him. As they walk away, Marie looks at me. So, what happened in Maine? Are you going home to Sam? I don't know exactly. What do you mean? She asks. I know that I want to be with Sam, but he told me not to call him even if I've made a decision. He said that he would let me know when he was ready to talk, not the other way around. Marie waves it off. He just meant that if you were going to turn him down. He doesn't mean that if you have good news you shouldn't tell him. I don't know, I think he's really upset. Of course he's upset, but that's all the more reason to find him and talk to him. I want to respect his wishes, I say. Emma, listen to me. Go find him right now and tell him that you want to be with him. You mean, like, go to his office at school? I say. Yes, Marie says. Absolutely do that. I mean, don't propose to him in front of band kids or whatever, but yes, find him now. Yeah, I say, starting to build up the confidence. Yeah, I think you're right. My parents come over and ring up the man. He must not have found what he came in for. He is instead purchasing a copy of Little Women. No doubt my parents gave up trying to figure out what book he was talking about a few minutes into it and just decided to sell him on Louisa May Alcott. They want to sell everyone a copy of Little Women, because it's a great book, sure, but also because they are proud that it was written just a few miles away. They probably also tried to sell him any Henry David Thoreau or Ralph Waldo Emerson we have in stock. I haven't been pushing the transcendentalists like they do. Copies stay on the shelf longer than they did when my parents were running things. They have never given me a hard time about it. My father has never asked why there are copies of Civil Disobedience that have managed to earn dust on them. My parents have given me an incredible gift. They gave me this store, and they set up a future for me, but they never told me theirs was the only way to do it. We sell more journals and candles now. We sell tote bags with literary quotes on them. We sell more young adult than we have in years, and we sell less of the classics and less hardcovers. That all might be because of how the business is changing, but I also think it's because of me, because I do things differently, for better or for worse. Now things might change again with Marie coming back. We might grow even stronger. The man leaves, and I prepare to head out to my car and try to win back the love of my life. Okay, I say, I'm out of here. Wish me luck. I get to the door before I turn around. I decide that something I've left unsaid needs to be explicit. Thank you, I say to my parents, for trusting me with this store and for waiting for me to fall in love with it on my own, in my own way. Thank you for guiding me toward a life that makes me happy. For a minute, my mom looks like she might cry, but she doesn't. Of course, honey, she says as my dad gives me a wink. That's parents for you. You say thank you for gifts they've given that have shaped your entire world, and their answer is, of course. As I'm out the door, I turn to Marie and say, welcome back. As I get into my car in the back lot, I find my days-old sandwich sitting in the front seat. It has already given my car a sour, acrid odor. I grab it and throw it away in the dumpster, and then open up both of my car doors for a minute, trying to air it out. That's when I see a car pulling in. I don't need to look through the windshield to know who it is, but of course I do anyway. Sam. My heart starts beating rapidly. I can feel rhythmic bass throbbing in my chest. I run toward his car just as he steps out of it. He's in slacks and a button-down with his tie untied and hanging loosely around his neck. His coat is unbuttoned. It's the middle of the day and he should be at school. Instead, he's standing in the lot of my store with his eyes bloodshot. I look at him and I see a broken heart. I have to talk to you, he says, his breath visible in the cold. I have to talk to you too, I say. No, Sam says, putting his hand up. I'm going first. I can feel my heart start to break in my chest. Is it over? I am devastated that my being unsure has led to the man I love being unsure about me. I feel the urgent need to stall, to draw out this moment, to spend as much time as possible with him before he leaves me for good, if that's what he's going to do. Can we get in the car? I say. Turn on the heat. Sam nods and opens up his car door. I run around to the passenger side, rubbing my hands together for warmth. Sam turns on the ignition, and we wait for the heat to warm up. Soon, my hands start to thaw. Listen, Sam says. I've spent the past 4 days thinking. It feels like a lifetime has passed, but it's only been 4 days.
I can't do this, he says as he turns his whole body toward me. I can't live like this. This isn't working for me.
Okay, I say. I can feel my chest start to ache as if my body can't stand to hear this.
You have to come home, he says.
I look up at him. What?
15 years ago, I watched you go off with Jesse, and I told myself that you had made your decision, and there was nothing that I could do about it. And here we are, all this time later, and I'm doing the same thing. I can't do it again. I'm fighting for you. I left work after 5th period today because I was considering teaching the jazz band how to play Total Eclipse of the Heart. I'm heartbroken without you. I have spent this time alone, moping around like a bird with a broken wing, just hoping that you'd come back to me. But it's not enough to hope. I'm an adult now. I'm not a teenager like I was back then, the first time. I'm a man now, and it's not enough for me to hope for you. I have to fight for you. So, here I am. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting up a fight.
Sam takes my hand and implores me.
I am right for you, Emma. What we have it's true love. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You're my soulmate. I can make you happy, he says. I can give you the life you want. So marry me, Emma. Marry me.
Oh my God, I say, relief washing over me. We are so ridiculous.
What are you talking about? Sam asks. What do you mean?
You're fighting for me? I say.
Yeah.
I was about to come find you at your job to fight for you. Sam is disarmed and stunned. He is quiet, and then he starts to tear up and says,
Really?
I love you, sweetheart, I say to him. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. I'm so sorry that I had unfinished business, but it is finished now. It's over. And I know that you are the man I want to spend every day of my life with. I want our life. I want to marry you. I'm sorry I was lost, but I'm so sure now. I want you.
And Jesse?
Sam asks. I love Jesse. I'll always love him. But he was right for me then. You are right for me now. And always. Sam breathes in, letting my words flow into his ears and settle in his brain.
Do you mean all of this? He asks me. It's not just something you're saying to be dramatic and wonderful.
I shake my head. No, I'm not trying to be dramatic and wonderful.
I mean, you've succeeded in it for sure.
But I mean it, all of it. Assuming that you can forgive me for being uncertain, for needing to leave, for needing more time with him, to find out what I think I already knew.
I can forgive that, Sam says. Of course I can.
It's important to me that he knows what I've done, that I face it. We went to Maine together, alone, I say. I don't say anything more because I don't have to. Sam shakes his head.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know. It's over. It's in the past. All that matters is from here on out.
I nod my head, desperate to assure him. I don't want anyone or anything except you from here on out forever. He takes it all in, closing his eyes.
You'll be my wife,
he says, smiling wide. I don't know if I've ever felt more loved than in this moment, when the idea that I might marry a man brings that much joy to his face. Yes, I say. God, yes. Sam leans over to my side of the car and kisses me, beaming. The tears in my eyes are finally happy tears. My heart is no longer pounding, but swelling. No more conflicted feelings, no more uncertainty. I love you, I say. I don't think I ever knew just how much until now. It's a good sign, I think, that our love has proven to grow rather than wane when faced with a challenge. I think it bodes well for our future, for all of the things ahead of us. Marriage, children.
Oh, God, I was so scared I'd lost you, Sam says. I was capsizing over here, worried I'd lose the greatest thing that has ever happened to me.
You didn't lose me, I say. I'm here. I'm right here. I kiss him. The two of us are sitting awkwardly half over the console with cricked necks and the stick shift digging into my knee. I just want to be as close to him as possible. Sam kisses my temple, and I can smell our laundry detergent on his shirt. Take me home, I ask. Sam smiles. It is the sort of smile that any minute might turn to tears.
Absolutely.
I move away from him, putting myself firmly in the passenger seat as he puts the car in reverse and backs out. My phone and my wallet are in my car, as well as my weekend bag with all of my things, but I don't stop him. I don't ask him to wait just a minute while I grab them, because I don't need them. Not right now. I don't need anything that I don't have right this minute. Sam holds my left hand with his right. He does so the entire way home, except for a 20-second period when I lean forward and dig through his glove compartment for his favorite Charles Mingus CD that he keeps buried in the dash. I still can't stand jazz, and he still loves it. In both important and unimportant ways, Sam and I are the same to each other that we were back then. When the music begins, Sam looks at me, impressed.
You hate Mingus,
he says. I love you, though, so... This seems like a good enough explanation for him, and so he grabs my hand again. There is no tension, no pressure. We are at peace simply being next to each other. A deep calm comes over me as I watch the snow-plowed streets of Acton turn to those of Concord, as the evergreens that hug the highway leading us through Lexington and Belmont turn to brick sidewalks and brownstones in Cambridge. The world feels like a mirror, in that what I see in front of me is finally in perfect synchronicity with what I am made of. I feel like myself on these streets with this man. We park and head up to our apartment. I am tucked into the crook of his arm, using his body as a shield against the cold. Sam turns the key, and when the door shuts behind us, it feels like we've locked the whole world out. When he kisses me, his lips are still chilled, and I feel them warm up with my touch.
Hi,
he says, smiling. It's the kind of hi that means everything except hello. Hi, I say back. The smell of our apartment, a scent I'm not sure I've ever noticed before, is spicy and fresh, like cinnamon toothpaste. I spot both of the cats under the piano. They are okay. Everything is okay. Sam pushes himself against me as I rest against the back of our front door. He puts his hand to my cheek, his fingers slip into my hair as his thumb grazes under my eye.
I was afraid I'd lost those freckles of yours forever,
he says as he looks right at me. His gaze feels comforting, safe. I find myself moving my head toward his hand, pressing against it.
You didn't,
I say.
I'm here, and I will do anything for you, anything for the rest of our lives. I don't need anything from you,
Sam says.
Just you. I just want you.
My arms reach up around his shoulders, and I pull him close to me. The weight of his body against mine is both stirring and soothing. I can smell the drugstore pomade in his hair. I can feel the short stubble of his cheeks. You're it for me, I say. Forever. Me and you. I was wrong before when I said there's nothing more romantic than the end of a relationship. It is this. There is nothing more romantic than this, holding the very person that you thought you lost and knowing you'll never lose them again. I don't think that true love means your only love. I think true love means loving truly, loving purely, loving wholly. Maybe, if you're the kind of person who's willing to give all of yourself, the kind of person who is willing to love with all of your heart even though you've experienced just how much it can hurt, maybe you get lots of true loves then. Maybe that's the gift you get for being brave. I am a woman who dares to love again. I finally love that about myself. It's messy to love after heartbreak. It's painful, and it forces you to be honest with yourself about who you are. You have to work harder to find the words for your feelings because they don't fit into any prefabricated boxes. But it's worth it, because look what you get. Great loves, meaningful loves, true loves. I wear a pale lavender dress at my second wedding. It is sleek and ornate. It feels like the wedding dress of a woman who has lived a full life before getting married, a dress that signals a strong, well-rounded person making a beautiful decision. Marie is my maid of honor. Ava is our flower girl. Sophie is our ring bearer. Olive gives a speech that leaves half the room in tears. Sam and I honeymoon in Montreal. And then 8 months and 9 days after Sam and I say our vows in front of all of our friends and family, I am talking to Olive on the phone as I close up Blair Books on a balmy summer night. Marie left early to pick up the girls from our parents. We are all meeting up for dinner at Marie and Mike's house. Mike is grilling steaks, and Sam promised Sophia and Ava he'd make them grilled cheese. Olive is talking about the first birthday party that she is throwing for her baby, Piper, when I hear the familiar beep of call waiting. "You know what?" I say. "Someone's on the other line. I gotta go." "Okay," she says. "Oh, I wanted to ask you what you think about sea animals as a theme for—" "Olive," I say, "I gotta go." "Okay, but just, do you like sea animals as a theme or not?" "I think it depends on what animals, but I have to go. I mean, like whales and dolphins, maybe some fish," Olive explains as I groan. "Fine," she says. "We can FaceTime tomorrow." I hang up and look at my phone to see who is calling me. I don't recognize the number, but I recognize the area code. 310, Santa Monica, California. "Hello?"
Emma?
The voice is instantly familiar, one I could never forget. "Jesse?"
Hi.
"Hi."
How are you?
He asks me casually, as if we talk all the time. I've gotten postcards from California a few times, even one from Lisbon. They are short and sweet, simple updates on how he is, where he's headed. I always know he's okay, but we don't text that often, and we never talk on the phone. "I'm good," I say. "Really good. How about you?"
I'm doing well, yeah,
he says.
Miss you guys in Acton, obviously.
"Obviously," I say.
But I'm good. I'm really happy here.
I don't know what else to say to him. I can't quite tell why he's calling. My silence stalls us, and so he just comes out with it.
I met someone,
he says. Maybe it shouldn't surprise me that he met someone, that he wants to tell me, but both things do. "You did? That's wonderful."
Yeah, she's really incredible, just very unique. She's a professional surfer. Isn't that crazy? I never thought I'd fall in love with a surfer girl.
I laugh. "I don't know," I say, locking up the shop, walking out to my car. It's still bright out, even though the evening is fully underway. I will miss this come October. I make a point to appreciate it now. "It kind of makes perfect sense to me that you'd fall in love with a surfer girl. I mean, it doesn't get much more California than that."
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Jessie laughs. "What's her name?"
Britt,
Jessie says. "Jessie and Britt," I say. "That has a nice ring to it."
I think so. I think we're good together.
"Oh, Jessie, that's so wonderful. I'm really so glad to hear it."
I wanted to tell you,
he says, and then he drifts off. "Yeah?"
I get it now. I get what you were saying, about how falling in love with Sam didn't mean that you forgot me, that it doesn't change how you once felt. It doesn't make the people you loved before any less important. I didn't get it back then. I thought choosing him meant you didn't love me. I thought because we didn't work out, it meant we were a failure or a mistake. But I understand it now. Because I love her. I love her so much I can't see straight. But it doesn't change how I felt about you, or how thankful I am to have loved you once. It's just,
I'm the past, and she's the present.
Yeah,
he says, relieved that I've put it into words for him, that he doesn't have to try to find them himself.
That's exactly it.
I think you forsake the people you loved before, just a little bit when you fall in love again. But it doesn't erase anything. It doesn't change what you had. You don't even leave it so far behind that you can't instantly remember, that you can't pick it up like a book you read a long time ago and remember how it felt then.
I guess what I'm saying is, I've come around to your way of thinking. I am immensely thankful I was married to you once. I'm so grateful for our wedding day. Just because something isn't meant to last a lifetime doesn't mean it wasn't meant to be. We were meant to have been.
I am sitting in the front seat of my car with the phone to my ear, unable to do anything but listen to him.
You and I aren't going to spend our lives together,
Jessie says.
But I finally understand that that doesn't take away any of the beauty of the fact that we were right for each other once.
True love doesn't always last, I say. It doesn't always have to be for a lifetime.
Right. And that doesn't mean it's not true love,
Jessie says. It was real, and now it's over, and that's okay.
I am who I am because I loved you once,
he says. I am who I am because I loved you once too, I say. And then we say goodbye.